Hello,
And I
we're
think
live.
we are
Okay,
live.
okay, yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to our first episode of the Tube Life. We'll be recording this as a podcast, but since we're doing this, we might as well do it live and together with you guys. I'm Patrick Rambles, and I'll do this with Alex from Alex Gear and Tech. And today we have a very special guest. Some of you may know him from his excellent Apple news and leaks. Some of you may know him because of his beautiful Bieber-esque hair. And some of you may know him because of his amazing catchphrase, but most of us know him for his excellent and uncensored rants about everything Apple. His channel is growing like a weed. Ladies and gents, SaranByte.
Thank you for the amazing intro. Apologies for the terrible webcam. I'm a peasant, so that's that. But yeah, I'm honored to be on the first podcast of the first episode of the Tube Life. It's pretty awesome. Thank you, guys.
So
Amazing.
I was going to say, let's dive right in, but maybe you can do your catchphrase for this one.
Well, so let's just tuck in. There we go. Let's just tuck
That's it.
With that
That's
being
it.
said, let's just check
With
in.
that
Let's
being
just
said,
suck
let's just
in.
tuck in.
Okay,
Love
so
that.
why don't we just start talking about the title of the podcast, which is The Apple Event is Cancelled. What's next? Because we were supposed to have this podcast and talk about the Apple event, which was supposed to be tomorrow. But now I think we are pretty safe in
Yeah.
saying that it's not. Somebody's losing their eyebrows over it. And the question now is, what's next? What's going to happen? Are we going to have another event? Is it going to be in April? What about the products that we were expecting? What are your thoughts?
So I don't. So in terms of event, John Prosser says April's the new date, but I just like right now because of the whole like controversy around this March event and how Apple's feeding sources fake info. I don't believe we'll see an April event. I think we might see press releases instead because the 2020 iPad Pro that was released via press release, and so it could make sense to release that via press release to the 2021 models. And then AirTags, well, AirTags are pretty minor, so they can be covered. They can be covered online as well. And AirPods 3 the same. So there's really no point of having like a March event or April event, in my opinion. Yeah.
So from your experience, you're doing a lot of videos almost daily. I don't know how you do it, but they're all excellent. Obviously, the
Thank you.
quality is superb. Your news is relevant. But from your experience, what are people most excited about? Which product is the product that people are waiting for?
So I think short-term wise, iPad Pro definitely because we've been waiting for them so long. But long-term wise, I've also been like hearing about Macs, like iMacs, MacBook Pro. Those have also been quite popular, but iPad Pro mainly.
Yeah, I mean, speaking from my point of view, that's the one I'm
Yeah.
super excited about because I haven't had a new iPad for 6 years now, and it's with Apple products usually is I want it, but I'm not sure I need it. With
Yeah,
the
yeah.
iPad Pro, is
But they
something
always
that I
convince
actually
you
need
on
it.
stage. They always convince you on stage that you need it, then you end up spending a lot of
Yeah,
money.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
so much
I mean,
power,
do we
so much.
ever really need the products
Yeah.
every year?
Exactly. Yeah,
Good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
I think
Hey,
there's a
Jason.
trend going on YouTube, right? Basically claiming the opposite, that you don't need to upgrade your phone every year and that you really don't need that new iPad. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, like as much as I do like buying tech, like I do agree because like my mom had an iPhone SE till this year, and that was just working perfectly fine, but the battery life was getting a little worse. So she upgraded to the iPhone 12, but that's gonna easily last her for like probably 6 years, I think. Like as long as it's supported, that'll easily like last her because for our basic usage, it's more than capable, and the software
It's
updates are
true.
great as well. So like especially with Apple products, like the software updates are just amazing, and we're past that point. Like back then, Apple products used to slow down after a certain amount of time, but because of the whole the controversy that happened a while back, I believe Apple's kind of maintained speeds. I feel like the iPhone SE, the first generation iPhone SE, feels faster now than it was at launch, and that's kind of amazing to me. So yeah, I don't really think people should be upgrading on a yearly basis, to be honest. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's only now. I mean, this is the iPad, kind of 2015
Yeah,
iPad
yeah.
Pro.
The OG.
The
Oh,
OG, and
yeah.
it's with the OG pen and everything. I it's only been recently, and I'm saying, I don't know, in the last 6 months that I've started to notice that some apps are running slower. The battery
Mm,
life, of course, doesn't hold it so well anymore.
yeah.
But you're right. I don't think I would have benefited from an iPad Pro in the last 2 years. But now, with the features that we're going to be talking about, like Thunderbolt and
Yeah. Yeah.
all the kind of the better screen potentially. Not so sure about the camera, but um,
Yeah.
everything else is starting to really raise questions on, should I need a laptop if I can do so much more with the iPad? So I'm certainly looking forward to the upgrade.
So how do you
Yeah.
guys feel about, the things that we're expecting? Because I don't know about you, but a couple of months ago I was expecting mini LEDs, screen update, maybe the camera. But now we're hearing crazy things like Thunderbolt ports, which is the one that I really look forward to. I
Yeah.
mean, that's going to open up so many possibilities, but also very powerful chips. And, it's going to be such a powerful device.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these latest rumors? Are they coming, or is it just a pipe dream?
I really want them to come because I feel like this is the year that we should get pro apps on the iPad because I feel like in previous years, um, like the Mac and the iPad, they had their advantages and compromises. Like if you wanted a Mac, you had the better software, but you had Intel, which was a huge compromise. With the iPad, you had the power of Apple Silicon, but you had the software. You had to put up with the limitations, and so like you could really make your mind up, and it was kind of fair game. But now with M1, the Macs are just ahead. Like for most professionals, I think you should just buy a Mac because the OS is so much more like useful. Like you can, Final Cut, for example, we use that quite a lot. So I
Yeah.
just feel like the iPad needs some sort of advantage now because it kind of feels a bit redundant in the lineup, especially since you can buy you can buy a MacBook Air for $1,000, and that's way more capable in my opinion. So yeah, I think it's time the iPad Pro gets pro apps. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when
But
when you can attach multiple monitors, you can have as much storage as you can, right? Because you can attach, masses of storage on that Thunderbolt,
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
really decent speeds. Right now, you can already do that on the MacBook, on the iPad Air, to an extent. To be able to do that and not break a sweat, not have any fans inside it,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
it really starts to become, when you add to all of that the fact that you can, one-handed take it to a cafe, sit down and do all of that,
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
on a train or on an airplane, it really starts to become, a question on when do I need a laptop? And for me, is the Adobe Creative Suite. When you can do that on the iPad Pro, then I'll probably ditch my laptop. But that's the only thing that's probably going to keep me still
Fair enough.
relying on so much on the MacBook Pro.
I see.
and
Okay.
we've been hearing about these pro apps coming to the iPad.
Yes.
How realistic is that? Because, I can kind of imagine, but then maybe it's a slimmed down version. There was a guy in my comments who got really technical and told me exactly why that was never going to happen, or at least not in the current configuration. So, do you think that's plausible that we could get Final Cut on the iPad? Because in my case, my MacBook Pro lives in clamshell mode. I don't use it as a
Mm.
laptop, so I don't really care about it like a laptop. If I could choose, if I could have a device that is basically like an iPad but as powerful as a laptop, I would go
Mm.
for it. I would ditch my
Yeah.
laptop.
Mm.
Do you think it's plausible that we get those apps anytime soon?
Again, I want to hope, but so I was also told that so iOS apparently only lets apps use a third of the RAM, whereas macOS lets an app take advantage of all the RAM. And so because of that, like right now it's not feasible to have pro apps and Final Cut on the iPad. But of course, there is also another possibility we could see some sort of Final Cut Lite on the iPad because like, realistically, I don't think Apple's gonna force people to upgrade to the new iPad to get Pro apps. I think they will support the older models, and since they have 4 to 6 gigs of RAM, it makes more sense that we see some sort of Final Cut Lite. I've said many times that Apple should buy like LumaFusion maybe and just use that as the foundations for Final Cut Lite because
Mm.
LumaFusion is a great app. I've heard a lot of great things about it,
Mm.
and Apple could really, just put the Final Cut spin on that and just make that the Final Cut for the iPad.
That's pocket money for them, right? I mean, they could just completely do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's true. Final Cut or Premiere, those are the two that everybody seems to use. On the iPad, everybody seems to agree that it's LumaFusion or nothing.
Yeah,
So it would
yeah,
make sense
yeah,
for Apple to swoop in and just eat that one up.
Mm.
exactly. Yeah.
And then I see here Jeff from Digital Slang says, "I love LumaFusion." I think a lot of people do. Jeff, welcome
Yeah,
to
yeah.
our stream. Um, so what about the other products? How excited are we about new AirPods?
I am. I am
You
100%.
are.
I'm very excited because I am someone who absolutely hates AirPods Pro because I do not like silicon tips in my ears. I find them very uncomfortable. And so I've been sticking to AirPods 2. And well, I'm starting to see the degradation. Like the battery life is getting a little worse and it's a bit annoying. So I will definitely be upgrading to AirPods 3 when they come. Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
I'm
such a
really
thing of
excited.
preference, because I need those tips. The
Okay,
standard, I mean,
interesting.
because those are one size fits all, right? And they don't fit
Yeah,
my
yeah,
ears,
yeah.
so I
I
can't
just
wear them.
I just can't. I hate AirPods. Like I bought AirPods Pro at launch because I was really excited about them, and yeah, the ANC is incredible for a pair of earbuds, but they
Mm.
were just so uncomfortable. I just couldn't wear them over long periods. Whereas AirPods 2, I can pretty much leave them on the whole day, and I won't even realize they're in my ears half the time. So yeah, I
Yeah. For
appreciate the
me,
universe of it.
yeah, I always buy the kind of third-party rubberized tips that goes around it, so that it stays on.
Uh,
But
okay.
it's a nightmare because you then can't put that in the case.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to take
yeah.
them out and put them in. It's just a nightmare. So I was actually hoping that the new iPod 3 would have some sort of rubberized, not
So
so much the ear tips, but something around it to keep it, because
there's
not
actually a
everyone has an Apple ear, right?
There's actually a very interesting rumor. So apparently, this could have a hybrid design, so you could choose to have silicon ear tips or not, which I think would be the
Okay.
like that would be amazing because I feel like
Yeah.
from what I've heard, there's quite a split. There's people like me who like having the hard tip design, and there's people who like the silicon tips. And so if Apple could have some sort of hybrid design where maybe you
Yeah.
pay like 30, like 20 or $30 extra to get tips and have a more comfortable seal, like that would be perfect.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm really excited about is the AirTags. I keep losing my shit. So bleep. You should have bleeped it. No, I'm not. I'm not. That's the worst product. I don't know. I have Tile
Yeah,
and I've had the Samsung thingy. I never use them. It runs out of battery. Whenever I really need
AirTags.
it, I find that it's either been disconnected to my phone because it was connected to a different phone. The Bluetooth isn't. It's just useless for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
AirTag.
really get the
Yeah.
the excitement unless I'm missing something because I've been using Tiles for years, Tile Pro,
Mm.
right? And I was making fun of Samsung when they came out with theirs. I forget the name.
No, it's
Um,
pointless. Yeah.
they seem to be the exact same thing. So why are we so excited about the AirTags? It's unless I'm missing something and there's a feature that the Tiles don't have.
I think it's more it's just a meme in the Apple community because we've known about AirTags, I believe, since 2018, and Apple's already confirmed they exist because in a Apple support video, there's a clear mention of AirTags, and also in software, we've seen AirTags many times. So they clearly exist, but Apple's just been delaying them again and again, and so I think people are just fed up of that, I guess, rather than being
Yeah.
excited about the actual product.
Can I
No,
just say a
exactly.
quick thank you because I just saw that we got our first ever
Oh, that's awesome.
donation to this
Yeah.
live
I'll drink
stream
to that.
from
Thank
Team
you, Mike.
VRY. Mike,
Yes,
Mike, thank you so much.
Ooh.
Guys, check out
Cheers,
his
Mike.
channel, by the way. He's
Mike
a
is yeah,
really great
Pixel
creator.
King. He's great at Pixel King.
Pixel King for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks, Saran, for introducing Mike to my channel. Actually, way back
Was it?
when last year.
Oh,
Sometime.
okay.
Yeah,
No, I
you
don't
did a
remember.
shout out on the podcast. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, talking about introductions. You guys, we all know each other from our WhatsApp group, the TYU.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What has that done for you in terms of being on YouTube? Because for me, it's made a pretty big difference to be in a community like that. Not only for the support and everything, but to be able to talk to other people about the thing you love. And my family doesn't understand what I'm doing. They're happy for me, but they're like, yeah, all right, you do your little YouTube. But I mean, for me, it's been really fantastic to be in a group of like-minded people. And how has that been for you?
Yeah, I mean, YouTube, I think before the chat was pretty lonely. I can't, like, it's just because it's quite, I mean, I do talk to people on Twitter, but like having a group where we can just discuss and just like if we have any issues or queries, we just bring it up and everybody will, always be free to answer and help. Like, it's just really beneficial. And it's just awesome to have a group, like a support community. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
I'd agree. I mean, I was in a different stream, and Ian Steck, I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah, yeah, Ian said,
He does it
yeah,
every Friday, and there was a bit of collab video as well that he did at the end of last year, and it was so funny to because obviously we didn't. He just said just talk about 2020, and we all did our bit, and there was, I don't know, 15, 20 creators doing the same thing, and it was amazing that pretty much 90% of the people doing their bit said exactly the same thing. The thing that made the difference last year was being part of the tech community. And the TOIU for me has been fantastic. And Patrick introduced me to it. And up until then, it's been, of course, you get some support on Twitter. There's lots of other creators that, you kind of get together on Twitter, and that's really good as well.
yeah,
But just being able to, sometimes on a one-to-one basis, just call somebody and say, hey, I'm dealing with this issue or this brand, have you worked with this brand before? It's invaluable, really, and it's been
yeah.
fantastic. And as Patrick said, if I say to my wife or myself, what I'm doing, they don't really understand it that well. So it's
Mhm.
nice to kind of have that kind of like-minded group and that banter as well that we all enjoy.
Yeah,
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 yeah. The
agreed.
people around you are happy for you, but that's right. They don't. I mean,
They don't
it's a
understand.
nerdy
Yeah.
hobby. Let's be honest. It's a nerd
Yeah,
hobby. Um,
yeah,
and
exactly.
also here, I just highlighted a comment by Techronology. I think it's a good place to say thank you also to RJ Tech for setting that up. He's the godfather, if you will, of the
Yes, yes.
TYU,
Yeah,
and a lot of good things are coming from that. Speaking
brilliant.
of good things, Saran, your channel is growing really, really fast.
Thank you.
Can you talk to us about when that happened and what you think caused that blow up, if you will?
Um, for me, it would be, I believe, October, November. This was the peak of M1, and I was making a video about like the future of M1 and some leaks we got about like future M1X products, and that really blew up. And that was one of the first. So before on the channel, I would cover Android and uh, iPhone leaks, like Android and Apple leaks, and that video was the first one that really just blew up for me. And so I was like, maybe I should just hone down on Apple because I do
Mm.
like. I mean, I've used Android before and I do use other products, but I do like Apple. I'm very much in the Apple ecosystem. So, yeah, I decided to just hone in on Apple stuff. And ever since, yeah, the channel's just been blowing up and I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I've noticed
Yeah,
that as well on my own channel. I really want to be diverse. I don't want to be, pinned
That's the
down to
thing
one
about
thing.
YouTube. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But every time I do something that's not Apple or iPad, because that's how I got started,
mm,
it's just it usually doesn't do as well. So how important is
yeah.
niching down? That's the question I guess I wanna ask.
I think
yeah. I mean,
for me,
yeah. Go on.
I think of it like I feel like right now in 2021, this tech space is so saturated. It's like you can't be like an MKBHD where he does a variety of tech. Like I guess there are going to be anomalies, but like for the most part, I think you've got to niche down on something and just focus on that and become the expert in that field. So that's pretty much what I'm striving, like just become the channel for Apple leaks and rumors. And so instead of trying to do, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that resonated with me a lot, and it was in lots of different conversations with different people in the last few months, was something that Marquez said was especially when you're starting out on YouTube, do something that you enjoy doing, whatever it is, because
Yes,
for a
yes,
long
100%.
time, it really won't be something that you can it'll be profitable. Of course, there will be the unicorns and people who grow really fast and start making money just off AdSense. But for the majority of us, it will be a long time until you grow, until you get a community that is there for you. So I think, yeah, it's important to just have a good time, right? Because it is
Yeah,
going to be hard work. It's going to be pretty much sometimes some weeks you're not going to get the views that you expected. So doing something that you enjoy doing. I mean, every time I'm editing a video, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm always I find myself smiling, right? And that for
Yeah.
me is like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the best thing, right? Because I know sometimes we won't get the right number of views. It won't be something that my current subscribers might enjoy, but I'm having a good time. And I think it's important to get, eventually, I think is right to focus on something, because that's really when growth happens. But yeah,
I
we'll
think
see.
that's so important to have fun, because
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people, I'm not one of those people that is looking to make a career out of YouTube. It's I just love doing it, right? But there are plenty of people that are looking to, one day, switch their jobs and go full time on YouTube. But I think if you stop enjoying it, and if you're just doing it because you have to, and you have to upload this much, and you're stuck on this one thing that you keep doing, and it becomes a job. I've heard people burning out because of it. And I think
yeah,
if you stop having fun, that's when you get into the danger zone.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
the other thing that I think is important. I mean, a lot of us do this as a second thing, right? Right now, we all pretty much do this as a side thing. We all either
Yeah.
study, have our kind of commitments to schools, or jobs, right? And families as well. So I think, yeah, kind of focusing on YouTube too much could be an issue. And if you listen to someone like Roberto Blake, for example, he will say, don't do that, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Diversify that.
see it as
Yeah.
exactly, see it as a business, which means create different channels for your customers, for your viewers, for your
Yeah.
community to reach out to you and support you.
Mm.
So yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's so volatile. We've seen it already in the past.
Exactly.
YouTube
Yeah.
changing policy, and things change radically. But not just YouTube, also all the things connected to it that make it possible to keep creating, like affiliates. I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that Amazon changed its policy not too long ago, which was a really, really big hit for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I think it's extremely important to not put all your eggs in that one basket.
100%.
So, Saran, I'm going to ask a very cliche question, but where do you
Okay.
see your channel going?
Where do I see my channel going? I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna continue doing Apple leaks and rumors, possibly like diversifying, doing reviews as well occasionally. So just becoming, I guess, just becoming a hub for all things Apple, like whether it be news, reviews. Yeah, just that, like a hub for Apple, basically.
So, would you want to be the next Rene Ritchie, or the
The,
next who's your
I'm not
idol? Who are you looking up to
idol.
in this
I mean,
space?
I would say two people: Taylor of Tech and I Update. Rene Ritchie's too clever. Like I can't be that clever. Like I'm not. I'm not that. Like he's just an insane level. Like he's incredibly clever person. But Taylor of Tech and I Update, they're quite entertaining. They keep their videos concise, and they always just getting the latest information about Apple out there. And so I strive to be like them, basically. Yeah.
The OnePlus guy here says
Yeah.
Saran is using AirPods for audio.
Yes. Yes.
What
Representing.
do you have to say about that?
I mean, they're great. I mean, AirPods are like they're just decent. They're good enough. They're good enough in my
You
opinion.
sound
So,
great. You sound great.
thank you. Yeah.
Okay, guys, in the comments, if you have any questions, please fire away, and we will highlight them.
100%.
Okay. So what's next? What's next for? I mean, you have videos almost every day. So is this something you decide on a daily basis? Like, what are you gonna do tomorrow, or do you have like the next week planned out?
100%. It's a daily because like today for example up until like 6 p.m. I didn't have a video to do, and then
Oh,
we got
wow.
some information about HomePods with screens coming out, so I quickly recorded about that. So it's very yeah. So basically, my channel like lives on leaks. Like it relies on leaks. If I don't get a leak that day, then yeah, I'm kind of screwed.
So without sharing your secrets, I mean, take us through your flow a little bit. Now, so do you got like, I don't know, have you got those RSS feeds, or are you constantly on, you
So
know?
yeah, for Twitter, I just have notifications on for all the sites. I also have some bookmarks for some leakers from China. So Weibo or Weibo, I don't know how you
Oh
pronounce
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Weibo, I think. So I've got a few bookmarks for that because they post things occasionally there. And I'm just checking that constantly. And if I see something interesting, then I start thinking in my head what I could discuss. And then, yeah, I just record. And I usually have a video out. Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
another question here by Tech PhD. Saran, do you think you found your niche, and if so, do you think it is something you can get tired of?
Yeah, I think I found my niche. And I don't think I got tired of it because even before the YouTube thing, I've been looking up leaks. Like, I remember looking up leaks as like in year 7 or year 8. Like as a 10-year-old, I used to look up leaks on the latest iPhone, iPad. Like, it's always something that's interested me, and so I don't think I'll get bored of it. I think it's definitely something I can just keep on making, really, and keep on doing.
Apple are always going to be, innovating, right? They're
Yeah,
never going to
yeah,
stop,
exactly.
really.
Yeah,
So your content is, pretty
yeah.
long. The longevity of it is
Mm.
fantastic.
So you wanted to be a YouTuber when you were 10, or is
Oh,
it
no,
just
no,
something
no,
you're...
no. Actually, it's kind of changed from time to time. When I was really young, I said I wanted to be an actor. I don't know why. I would just want to be an actor. But I think around the age of, I'd say around 13, 14, I started experimenting with YouTube. And I do have a few channels before this that I made. I used to do like skit-based content on that. They were very cringe. But yeah, I'm glad I've pivoted to tech because I've always had a passion for tech. So yeah.
So I keep reading these reports of kids these days when they are asked, what do you want to be? I mean, it used to be police officer, inventor, whatever. They all want to be
Yeah.
YouTubers now, or TikTok stars. What do
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
say to those kids if let's hypothetically, you have a child comes up to you and says, "Daddy, I want to be a YouTuber."
Yeah, I mean, I would say that realistically you shouldn't have it as a like just don't like if you need something to fall back on. Like I feel like you can't do this full time right from the get-go because unlike other jobs, there's just no stability with YouTube. Like it's so volatile that like you really need to put 2 years, 1 to 2 years of work before you start seeing any consistent like revenue in terms of revenue in terms of money. And so I would say for those kids, like work on having like either studying or having a normal job on the side as well as doing YouTube. And then when it takes off, then think about going full time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds like sound
great points
advice.
there.
Yeah. Just excuse me. Just to highlight our friend Jason's comment here. Thank you very much, first of all.
Thank you.
But also, Jason, thank you very much for what you're doing because you are really shining a little spotlight on tiny creators like ourselves and giving us a bit of a platform. And I think that's really, really, really great because it's very crowded in YouTube and very difficult to get seen. And we appreciate what you do on Twitter.
Every week, yeah, it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
exactly.
Really good job, man.
Yeah.
And here we have a question, Mr. H Tech. I think we touched upon it earlier, but let's just make it a bit wider. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be Apple.
Yeah.
We all are, I think, because we're all tech YouTubers, we're a bit, forward looking and, we have our ideas of what we might want for the future. What's your dream piece of tech, Saran?
Okay, like Apple wise, I just have to say, like it's the 14-inch MacBook Pro. I want that. I really want that because currently I have a mid 2012 MacBook Pro, and I tell you, like the daily videos is like it's not coping well. It's just wheezing to death, and so I really need to get a new Mac, and I don't want to regret getting an M1 machine and then the new redesigns with mini LED coming out. So yeah, I'm just waiting for those. I really want to get one.
So either 14?
14 inches purely because it's cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
And get a big monitor and some
And yeah,
extra
just get
storage.
yeah, exactly. I can just get a monitor if I need a bigger screen. So yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about using? Because I just told you I use my laptop in clamshell mode. It's never used as a laptop. I even, to be very honest with you, I hate using it as a laptop. I don't like the keyboard. I physically hate the touch bar. I don't know why it's there. Oh, your reaction. Now I want to know. You love the touch bar.
No. Okay. I don't like the touch bar. I can agree with you on that. But I'm saying like
It's okay. This is a safe place. You can say if you like the touch bar.
I'll confess, I use the touch bar for emojis. It's pretty useful for
it
that.
does have.
But
I think
that's about it for me.
the idea is great. I like the idea of the touch bar. The execution is where it falls flat because it's lagged. It's like it just stops working sometimes. I've seen so many people complaining about it freezing. Like that's a main issue. If Apple could sort that out, then I think the touch bar would be something a lot more people would be welcome to having.
Yeah.
Alex, let's ask you the same question. What is your dream piece of tech? Not necessarily Apple.
No, for me, it's going to have to be a camera. You know, for me, it's going to be either the Sony, the latest Sony camera, or something a little bit more, even more kind of on the cinema side of things, like a Red or something. But not necessarily for what I do on YouTube, but just because I just love to be trying that sort of tech. It's just amazing what you can do these days with with camera technology, and it's it's again not stopping. So I've got a decent Canon here, but even that, it's probably more than what I need for YouTube. But yeah, I'd love to be able to use something that's the high end sort of. It's not really the pro level, but something the prosumer level for me. That's the.
I'd like to have a Canon R5 that doesn't overheat. That is so annoying.
What about yourself, Patrick? What's your dream piece of gear?
That's actually
that's the dream.
It doesn't overheat.
Honestly, I really love that camera, but the overheating is just it's a nightmare. When I have a full version of Final Cut Pro for my videos with split screen function, and I'm assuming, Joker of Music, that you mean on the iPad, because
I think so, yeah.
I think we all love Final Cut Pro, but we were just talking about that it's unlikely that there will be a full version of it. You know, that it might be a slimmed down version like we see now with Photoshop, I think it is.
Yeah.
And if we had Final Cut on the iPad, would you use it? Because the way I use it is when I'm sitting in front of my ultra-wide monitor. Going back to my 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is quite large, it feels tiny. It's like I don't have a timeline that's wide enough. Maybe I'm just spoiled, but I don't really see myself using Final Cut Pro on the iPad unless I can plug it into a big screen.
Okay. For me, because I've virtually been editing on a laptop forever, so like this would be an upgrade for me. And also, I don't know, I'd love to like make my setup more concise, like just having one machine for everything. That just sounds like perfect for me. And so having the ability to, of course, to use the iPad as a tablet and just watch videos on it, but also connect it to the Magic Keyboard and edit videos on it, like that just sounds like the dream for me. And like honestly, I never had an issue with editing on the 13-inch MacBook Pro, so I'll be completely fine with the iPad Pro, in my opinion.
How about you, Alex?
For me, it's going to depend on, because my videos, I wish they were simpler, and I every time I have this a great idea, and then pretty much an hour in editing, I'm going, why did I think that? Because it is a killer, because you got to think about downloading music, downloading some effects and transitions, and sometimes just the screenshots as well. But all of that together, I find it really difficult to imagine being able to do all of that on an iPad. For a video, I've got like a structured folder of things for B-roll, things for some sort of effects that I've imagined that I want to use. It's entirely possible for certain videos, I think, to do that. Even today, I think on the iPad Air, the latest iPad Air, you can probably do some serious editing on there. But I think for more advanced stuff, it's gonna need a laptop for a while. But I am hopeful, because if I don't know if you guys have seen Premiere Rush, for example, that you can have on an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty capable for most Instagram and TikTok videos that you can edit on the go. So to think that it's going to be better than that, it pushes the boundaries a little bit. But I think if I was to do like a 10-minute or 15-minute, which in my case is about an hour and a half of material that I've got to edit, because I stutter a lot, I just don't see that happening. But we'll see.
No, how much is Adobe Rush? Is that like a subscription service too, or is that free? Like, what's
that's the other thing that I'm hoping that kind of, the Final Cut edition is capable enough, because I'm
Mm.
fed up of paying. I think in the UK I pay all in about
Yeah.
£45 a month for Adobe.
40. Oh, okay.
Photoshop. I don't use everything, but I do use After Effects every now and then.
Yeah.
Audition. I'm using Audition right now to record this, but yeah, it's very expensive. 3 or 4 months of paying that, I could potentially have bought Final Cut Pro.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually ridiculous. When I got Adobe Audition, I got it for one reason only, which is to stretch songs to the right length of the video. I mean, that's the most decadent thing I've ever done. Get software for that one purpose.
For the one
Luckily,
feature.
I've been using it for much more than that now.
Mm.
We have another question. Technology. Do you think iPadOS 15 will bring more features to the iPad that make it better for multitasking, or another somewhat minimal update like iPadOS 14? And if you're wondering why I'm reading this question when you can clearly see it, that's because we also want to turn this into a podcast. So this is for the people that are just listening and not watching.
That's
so
right.
guys, Saran, would you like to take this one?
So the thing with iOS and iPadOS is that we never get leaks about them, because it's really hard to leak software compared to hardware. And so it really, I'm not sure, but because usually Apple has like a TikTok cycle with their software. So if it's a minor year last year, then we have a big refresh this year. And so since iPadOS 14 was pretty minor, I'm assuming iPadOS 15 is going to have some big upgrades, and especially since we're getting the Thunderbolt ports on the iPads, I feel like that could be the gateway to more macOS-like features, and yeah, perhaps obviously on iPadOS 15.
I think the one thing I would look forward to if we have Thunderbolt ports on the iPad is potentially being able to edit off of an external drive. Because that's the one thing I really don't like about the iPad is the filing system and the fact that you have to upload your videos to the iPad to be able to edit them. And if you're using a bit of a heavier camera and you have large files, it's almost impossible unless you have that 1 terabyte version that is hopefully coming out. But I mean, that's going to be very expensive, because we all know what Apple charges
We already
for
have the 1
storage.
terabyte version, I believe. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But I think a lot of people are looking at the 1 terabyte version for the new one because of the heavy files.
Oh yeah. Fair enough.
But it's so expensive, and it's what I keep telling people. When they buy a Mac, I always tell them don't buy too much storage, because you can easily just hook up a very fast SSD card and you will be cheaper, and they have a lot of advantages to them.
Yeah.
But we can't really do that yet for the iPad.
Do you think with Thunderbolt that will be possible?
I think so. I think so. I think that because they're bringing the literally the same port we have on the Mac over to the iPad, I think that is complete. Yeah, it should be possible. Hopefully.
Because even I've seen some tests, right? Even kind of internal storage versus external, it's only a few seconds, right? If people are editing 8K footage and things like that, and the difference between the internal and external right now is only seconds. So if you can edit forget 8K, but it's just like a 4K timeline on an iPad and render it, in say under a minute or something, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, that's insane. And those M1 Macs are quite surprising.
Yeah,
I'm a
the
little
M1
frustrated because I spent a lot of money on a 16-inch MacBook Pro that was able to handle my files, and now these M1s are just laughing. Jason here is asking a question that what brought each of you to YouTube, and what has been the biggest obstacle? Saran, do you want to go first?
For me, I mean, I started this channel out of boredom in quarantine, like literally, because before I didn't have I feel like with school and just life in general, I didn't have time to have just work on a channel. But then with quarantine, everything was just you were just bored at home, and so I was like, why don't I start a channel? And I decided to start one.
Biggest obstacle?
Biggest obstacle. I guess time. I don't know, just having enough time in the day to make these videos. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How about you, Alex?
Yeah, so exactly the same way I started. It was last year, kind of trying to figure out how am I going to deal with being at home. And I had already other channels that I did for kind of useful purposes. It wasn't really, for as a business or anything.
Yeah.
I'm a football coach for the weekends for my son football. So in lockdown at the beginning, I was recording videos of training sessions for them, and then
Oh, okay.
I just kind of got really interested in the gear aspect of it and buying, lighting and audio equipment. I thought, wow, I've got all this gear. Why not just start a tech channel? So
Yeah.
that's what started my first few videos are very cringeworthy, but I think it's important to go through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
term in terms of obstacles, is definitely being able to juggle everything, right? Because we
Mm.
either you've got school, I've got another job, got obviously a young family, so I've got to kind of find the time and sometimes push through. Especially when you commit to yourself, right? As a goal, I want to release one video a week, no matter what. You got to find the time. And sometimes there are some weeks that I think, oh, I just really couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I think, no, I've committed to this and I will do it. And I think that's been the biggest hurdle. It's kind of to go through that juggling with other things. But
Mm. Yeah, same for me. I'm in it for the free stuff. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually started. I consumed a lot of YouTube because we
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
for years we haven't had any TV channels. Probably most people don't anymore. Getting sick of Netflix, and I just wanted to watch stuff that really interests me. And I was watching YouTube on a daily basis, and then the pandemic hit, and I had all this extra time on my hands, like most people, I suppose.
mm,
Sure there was a giant boom in content creators. Uh,
Yeah.
but same problem for me. I have a family, I'm running a business. For me, consistency is quite difficult, and I do it as well. I agree with you, Alex. We've made a commitment, and not only to ourselves, but also to people that are, looking forward to some videos. But that's definitely, I think, one of the trickiest things. Techronology, just highlighting two of his comments here. One, Patrick Rambles says SSD card. And that, my friend, is because I'm very old and I just start saying things like this. I'm going to say things wrong. That's just what I do because I'm old.
same here. Yeah.
Same for Alex. And then your question, which I actually quite like, what encourages you to keep putting out videos? We just talked about hurdles, but what makes us keep doing it? Even though we have all that stuff, making it semi-difficult.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go on, Saran, you go first.
like you guys said, it's just a commitment. You made a commitment that, like, I made a commitment to myself that I'm gonna try and upload daily. And obviously, there will be some days that maybe I just can't. But if I can, I will try to make a video, and I've committed to that. So I should stick to that goal. And so that's pretty much the motivating factor for me. Pretty yeah.
For me, this is going to sound very cheesy, but I don't mind. I like cheese. Um, it's to get a comment, and that happens at least once a week. I get that one comment that will say, "Your video helped me," either
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in making a purchase decision, or a question that I had and your video answered, or you made me laugh. Whatever it might be. Obviously, you get some stupid comments as well, but the ones that are really sort of say, do you know what? Even though I'm not really getting paid, not in any meaningful way,
Mm.
but those sort of things is what, do you know what, is worth it. Keep going. That's for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You know, some we all have some haters here and there, but I have to say, I don't mind as much as I thought I would. I thought, oh,
Same,
somebody
yeah.
says something really nasty, I might take it personal. I don't really. I have to say, people are generally quite nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people on my channel that have something to say are generally quite constructive. If there's somebody in there that is really rude or just using swear words or whatever, I just block them. I don't have
Yeah.
time
Instant
for
block.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
we don't need any toxic people on the channel. But if somebody has an opinion, I think it's just good. Gets the conversation going, and our videos can only get better. And I agree with you, Saran. I was just watching my very first video today for some reason, and I had to turn it off. I can't watch it. It's too painful.
Yeah.
Um, Let's
Yeah, I
have
had
a
a comment today actually on the first video in my channel. It wasn't even about tech, it was about a pair of trainers. And I refused to delete. I think even people like Nick Niming told me, you need to delete that video because it has nothing to do with your channel. But I just like the reminder of going back there and go, that's where you started, because
Yeah, yeah.
it's quite cringe, but I think it's important. And someone
Yeah.
commented on it today saying, yeah, that was a really good review. I was like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? That was rubbish.
That's interesting. That's really something I would also like to talk about, because I've noticed this, and we just talked about spending a lot of time on edits and trying new things and using After Effects and all that stuff. And it can get really time consuming. I mean, Saran does videos almost every day, so I assume, Saran, you have to sort of limit yourself in a way to how much fluff you want to put on top of your videos to make it somewhat doable to do them on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
I have to say again, they're really excellent, and the quality
Thank
is
you.
superb
Thank you.
for, especially for somebody doing it on a daily basis. My videos take a couple days to make, because I'm slow, because I'm getting old, but also, because I feel like sometimes I want my videos to be too polished, and I need things in there, and I want slider shots and all that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, sorry, I think I messed up my mic there. I think that kind of ties in with the question I just put there on the screen, which says, do you think making videos benefits yourself or the viewer more, and why? Because what I've noticed is that, generally speaking, the videos that I'm very proud of don't do well at all. I spend so much time on them, and then they just don't perform. And then there's
Same.
videos
Yeah.
that I really don't want to upload. I just have to, because it's time, and I don't want to spend any more
Yeah.
time on
Yeah.
it. I don't
Yeah.
feel good about them, and then they just take off for some reason. So maybe not exactly the question that Techronology is asking here, but what do you think the viewer cares about? Do they care about polished videos? Do they care about, having a little bit of cinematic stuff in there? Or do they just want to see, do they just want to get their information and go to the next video?
I think it really depends on the genre, because with the genre I like, leaks and rumors, you've got to be as fast as you can. Like, because we get rumors like every day and people want to know the latest. So I feel like they're willing to compromise on a bit of polish to get the information out there faster. Like, I feel like most people are coming to watch my videos because they want to know the latest, not here to see my amazing A-roll or edits. Like, they just want to know the information. But of course, with a review and like tech, like, yeah, with the review, I feel like you can afford to put more polish on it and make really slick B-roll and a nice script, because I feel like with a review, people would appreciate that more. Yeah, that's my thoughts
Yeah, I, I
anyway.
I think that there's a balance as well. When you're, no one knows you, right? If I look at my analytics, for example, 99, well, not 99 anymore, but like 95% of my viewers of any video are people who never seen the channel before, right? They're
Yeah,
not subscribers. Um, so I always have to keep that in the back of my mind. People are seeing that video for the first time. They don't
first
know
time.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
So for me to do what I really wanted to do, which it would benefit me because it would be, be more, be me being myself, probably wouldn't hit a lot with other people. But I think as people get to know you better and kind of get used to
yeah,
your channel as you grow, I think it's okay to add a little bit of extra stuff in there that's not necessarily to do with the product that you're reviewing or with
yeah,
the
yeah,
subject that you're talking about. But I think it's important to recognize that. And I think I've learned that the kind of the hard way as well, kind of, because my first videos there was too much waffle in there,
mhm,
and now I'm actually not trying to, in the edit I'm removing 50% of my content because I think, well, people don't care about this bit, remove it.
Mm,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and for me, what I started doing, because now, since I don't think maybe 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, I've been posting twice a week, um, and I've sort of had this rule for myself that I do one video for the viewer only, and then one video a little bit for myself, because I really enjoy doing the camera stuff and the slider shots and all that. But I feel like that's more for me. So I kind of trying to find a balance, between, what I think they want to see, and then,
yeah,
the fluffy stuff that I want to put on top just for me.
That's definitely the way to go about it. Yeah, and if you speak to people who've done this for a decade or even more than that, that's exactly what they say. Keep it fun, maybe do like an 80-20 rule of 80% to keep
Yeah,
growing the
yeah.
channel, give the algorithm something to to feed, but then the 20% do something that you will actually enjoy. And and you see lots of big creators doing that. You see Marquez doing car stuff that doesn't really do as well as the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
videos.
I think it's about
Um,
like just building the audience, because right now we're in our like the premature stages of our channel. But once we get that core audience and those loyal fans, I guess, we can start, not pivoting as such, but just adding more fun elements and experimenting with all kinds of content, and people will be
yeah.
accepting of that.
Are there people in your channel, Saran, that you would consider fans by now?
Yeah, no, there are a few, but but I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest. Like a lot of them are just definitely information. Like it's very obvious they're here for the information and like nothing else really. So hence why, like you might have noticed, for like my original videos were quite over enthusiastic and me, going quite wild, I guess, with my personality. But I've turned that
Those are my
down now
favorite.
because, yeah, but I've turned that down now because I feel like, as you said, Alex, a lot of people are first-time viewers. You've got to ease them in, and so for now, I'm trying to just tone down myself and just get the information across, the
Be
value,
factual. Yeah.
yeah, and then of course later on ease them back into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't seen them already, go to Saran's first videos. It was basically, it's pure. I mean, I love it. It was a
It
bit more
wasn't
kind
for
of
everyone, though.
ranty, wasn't
Yeah,
I think we need more
like
rants.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I see that we plan to do 45 minutes. I think we are 6 minutes over, so maybe we can close off with this comment by Team VRY by Mike Saran. You'll be
thank you, Mike.
big in the league's landscape, and I 100% agree. I think you're gonna
Thank you.
go very big very soon. And congratulations once again on your amazing channel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the 12 people that have watched, and
Yes.
it's been really fun to do the first one. I think
Definitely.
it's been a great experience. We're gonna do one, I think, every 2 weeks. We'll definitely notify everybody. So thanks, guys,
Yeah.
for watching, and
Thank you, guys.
catch you in the next one.
Thank you all.
See you guys.
See you soon.
See you.